Allahu Akbar.
Messages of obedience, love and unity re-echo as the Muslim Ummah observed the festival of sacrifice.
What every Nigerian needs is peace now.
President Buhari celebrates Eid al-Kabir in Daura, optimistic of Nigeria's journey to greatness. Plus, Anambra governorship election, hope from the courtrooms for Professor Soludo and Senator Ugochukwu Uba. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Ian Ray John. Reading with me tonight are Adiola Kaumi-Akere from Lagos and Kemi Akinwande in Ibadan. Thank you for joining us. The Muslim faithful in Nigeria have joined their counterparts the world over in celebrating Eid al-Kabir, otherwise referred to as the Feast of Sacrifice. President Muhammadu Buhari was amongst those that observed the 2-rakat congregational prayer of Thanksgiving at Kofar Arawa Eid Ground, Daura, Katsina State. The president called for more support, understanding and cooperation of all as efforts are sustained towards achieving a prosperous Nigeria for posterity. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Allah is indeed the greatest. Imam Safiyanu Yusuf Dansawai kept emphasizing as he led the 2-rakat prayer of thanksgiving for his enormous blessings to humanity. In a khutbah shortly after, the Imam admonished the Ummah to remain prayerful, thankful, and indeed much more submissive to the Creator, no matter the circumstances. Their trust in the Almighty Allah, Imam Yusuf Dansawai insists, must never be compromised, while the virtues of sacrifice, obedience, justice, tolerance, love for one another, and care for those in need be kept alive. He also made a case for the faithful to be peaceful, purposeful, and supportive of the genuine efforts by the Buhari administration at effectively securing and stabilizing Nigeria for a prosperous future. Special prayers were offered for the nation and its leaders. The Emir of Daura, Umar Farooq Umar, assured the president of continued prayers and support of the people as he sustains genuine efforts at bequeathing a better future for all Nigerians. Before leaving the Eid ground, President Muhammadu Buhari performed the symbolic ram slaughtering in line with the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. This is the first time since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic President Muhammadu Buhari is celebrating the Feast of Sacrifice in the ancient town of Daura, his ancestral home. It was therefore a reunion of some sort as members of the community line up the major streets of Daura in their numbers to catch a glimpse, appreciate, and proudly associate with a Nigerian leader in whom they are well pleased. Speaking to newsmen shortly after, President Muhammadu Buhari said he is not unmindful of the desire of Nigerians for sustainable peace and security. Government, he said, will not relent until such genuine concerns are addressed, but made a case for their support through intelligence sharing.
What every Nigerian needs is peace now, so that they can go back to their farms, they can go around peacefully to those that are distracting the attention of governments at all levels, local, state, and federal. They live among them, they know them, let them expose them so that we can have peace in the country.
The Eid al-Kabir celebration continues. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And in Sokoto, thousands of Muslims converged on the central Eid ground to observe the 2 units prayer. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that the Eid prayer was conducted peacefully and in adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols.
The chief imam of Sultan Bello Jumaat Mosque, Sokoto, Imam Malami Akra, led the 2 units prayer, which commenced at 9 a.m.
Allahu Akbar.
In his sermon, Imam Malami asked Muslims to use the period to extend love to one another and pray for the country, and for leaders to succeed in their stewardship. He also asked the Muslims to fear Allah in their daily affairs and act in accordance with the teachings of Quran and the traditions of the Prophet of Islam. In his Salah message, Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar asked Muslims to pray for the sustenance of peace, unity, and progress of Nigeria, and for leaders to do more to check the activities of bandits and other security challenges in the country. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol, in his Salah broadcast to the people of the state, said his administration will continue to work closely with the federal government and security operatives to maintain security in the state.
And even though alarming attacks still persist in our communities, our collaboration has recorded successes in capturing and containing bandits and kidnappers in our state.
Eid prayers were observed across the state under tight security and in adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols. In Sokoto, Dalat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Similarly, lessons of patience, sacrifice and obedience to Allah, as well as constituted authorities with the embodiment of the khutbah at the National Eid Ground, Abuja, as Muslims in the Federal Capital Territory observed the 2-rakat spiritual prayer to mark this year's Eid al-Kabir. Ilyasu Notu Yakub reports that the Imam of the National Mosque, Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam, led worshippers in the prayer.
It was an Eid celebration with a peculiarity, as worshippers were admitted into the prayer ground under strict adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols. Detachment of security operatives were also on ground to duly screen individuals to prevent breach of peace. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello, and former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Babangida Ngorje, were amongst the earliest callers to the Eid ground. Arrival of the Imam, Dr. Muhammad Kabir Adam, signaled the commencement of the prayer.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah.
His khutbah was emphatic on the lessons inherent in the celebration, with a charge on the Muslim faithful to look beyond the merriments and embody sacrifice, obedience, virtues of love and patience, as exemplified by the prophets Ibrahim and Ismail.
Unity is power, so I call on Nigerians to remain united, regardless of their religious background, ethnicity, or geographical location.
Minister of the FCT, Muhammad Musa Bello, amongst other worshippers, advised residents to celebrate and commit health workers and security operatives to Allah in prayers for their sacrifice for nationhood.
FCT is a creation of law, is the center of our unity in Nigeria. So let everybody be united under one flag, one nation, one constitution. And FCT represents that.
Special prayers were offered for the peace of the nation and the leaders to be just in the discharge of the state affairs. Ilyasu Notu Yakubu, NTA News.
And still on Eid al-Kabir, President Muhammadu Buhari has reiterated the determination of his administration to create a just, harmonious and prosperous country where safety of lives and property will be guaranteed. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this was part of the president's message in commemoration of the 2021 Eid al-Kabir celebration.
In his Eid Adha message, the president reiterates the determination of his administration to create a just, harmonious and prosperous country in which the safety of lives and property is assured. Reflecting on the current challenges facing the country, the president states that COVID-19 has taken a heavy toll on the economies of all countries, including Nigeria, in addition to the fact that floods have caused large-scale destruction to agricultural farmlands, thereby impacting negatively on local production in line with the policy of drastically reducing food importation. This, he explains, has led to food inflation, which the government is working hard to address. President Buhari says no government in recent history of the country has invested heavily as to promote local production of about 20 other commodities through the provision of loans and several other forms of support to farmers. He says, apart from the destruction caused to rice farms by floods, Middlemen have also taken advantage of the local rice production to exploit fellow Nigerians, thereby undermining the goal of supporting local food production at affordable prices. President Muhammadu Buhari says, and I quote, "As elected leader who enjoys the goodwill of the ordinary people that gave us their mandate, let me assure you that we are continuing with measures to bring relief to Nigerians, including making fertilizer available at affordable prices to our farmers," he tells Nigerians. The president also notes that the current insecurity in the country has produced severe and adverse effects on agriculture because farmers are prevented from accessing their farms by bandits and terrorists. The president says his administration is taking measures to address security challenges and as first-step measures has started taking delivery of fighter aircraft and other necessary military equipment and hardware to improve the capacity of security forces to confront terrorism and banditry. The president appeals to Muslims to demonstrate the good virtues of Islam through personal examples and practices. President Buhari appeals to traders not to take advantage of the celebration to exploit fellow citizens through outrageous prices of food and rams, which is not inconsistent with the fine virtues of Islam. The president says, and I quote, "As practicing believers, we shouldn't seek obscene profits by making life difficult and miserable for others. We should not seek happiness at the expense of others, as Islam is a religion of charity that preaches love for one another." The president urges Muslims to continue to live in peace and harmony with fellow Nigerians of other faiths in the spirit of togetherness and pray for the progress of Nigeria at all times. The president says Nigerians should unite in exposing undesirable elements who are creating security problems for the country and fanning the ember of unrest. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed his deep attachment to the National Youth Service Corps scheme, saying it broadens the horizon of the nation's youth, opens up a wide range of opportunities, and enhances their understanding as well as appreciation of cultural differences. Receiving some Corps members serving in Daura on a solidarity visit, the president described the scheme as a spectacular initiative that remains critical for national unity and stability. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The Youth Corps members in their numbers converged on the private residence of the Nigerian leader to demonstrate their solidarity and support, as well as wish him a successful and memorable Salah celebration. Indeed, it was a joyous moment of history for them as the president came out to show appreciation. The Corps liaison officer, Umar Babayo, who spoke on their behalf, appreciated President Buhari for his sincerity of purpose and commitment towards addressing Nigeria's fundamental challenges for posterity.
The NYC members recognize the economic and infrastructural development which the federal government has embarked upon to ensure the realization of economic diversification, especially in agriculture. We also use this opportunity to appreciate the effort of the federal government as it relates to the NYSC scheme.
President Muhammadu Buhari formally welcomed the Corps members to Daura and indeed to his residence, asking them to not only renew their allegiance to Nigeria, but keep faith with the ideals of the NYSC scheme, which he described as well thought out.
I feel very strongly about NYSC, and I always wish you the best of luck. And I thank you for your service to the country. I assure you that we are much better off as Nigerians, and rather than fall out in line with ethnic or religious differences.
And in the spirit of the season, President Muhammadu Buhari donated 2 bulls, 20 bags of rice, and 1 million naira to the Corps members. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Elsewhere, In the spirit of Eid al-Kabir, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has urged all Nigerians, especially mothers, to be more committed in prayers for peace, unity and development of the country. The First Lady stated this when the wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Oshibajo, as well as wives of the service chiefs and that of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, paid her a Salah visit at the State House. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
In the spirit of Eid al-Kabir celebration, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has received the wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Oshibajo, the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, as well as the wives of the service chiefs, led by the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff and the President of the POA, Vicky Irabo, and the wife of the DGSS and other Nigerian women to share with her the celebration of Eid al-Adha. The low-key event provided the opportunity for the wives of the service chiefs to interact with the First Lady of Nigeria on the best way to continue galvanizing support in every way possible towards improving lots of women, youth and children. The First Lady used the occasion to call on Muslim faithful and other Nigerians to be more committed to the task of supporting their family and generally to the task of nation building.
We thank the Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to witness the Eid al-Kabir celebration, a celebration of sacrifice. And as usual, we have prayed for families and Nigeria. Let us commit to prayers for peace and unity of our nation. And may the Almighty God touch the hearts of our leaders to be conscious and do the needful. And also we pray to the Almighty Allah to accept our good deeds and fill our hearts with love and peace.
I pray that Nigerians will learn to love their country, love one another, serve humanity, and pray for our leaders. Mr. President needs prayers. All those in position of authority needs prayers to be able to lead well and with the fear of God. I wish all Nigerians, especially women and children, happy Eid al-Kabir.
We wish her Baraka de Salah. We wish Nigerians Baraka de Salah. And we continue to pray for the peace and security of Nigeria.
The First Lady also called on Nigerians to imbibe the virtues of sacrifice, love, and the fear of God in building a solid foundation towards achieving a more prosperous Nigeria. From the State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Time for our first break. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying. In the spirit of Eid al-Kabir celebration, Muslim faithful have been encouraged to imbibe the commands of Allah and pray for the unity and progress in the country. Ruth Aguela compiled some reports across some states where some prominent Nigerians admonished nation building.
Muslims converged at the central Eid ground in Birnin Kebbi to observe the Eid al-Kabir prayer, where Muslims were reminded of the virtues of the season that entails love, peace and sacrifice. The Emir of Gwandu and Chairman Kebbi State Council of Chiefs, Dr. Mohammed Ilyasu Bashir, charged Muslims to embrace religious tolerance and promote peace. In Borno State, the Eid prayers were successfully done with tight security on ground. While offering prayers, Muslims were admonished to obey the commands of Allah, extend love and support to those in need. Muhammad Goni reports that a mini Durban was organized by the Sheikh of Borno at his palace as part of activities to mark the Eid al-Kabir celebration. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa reports that the usual Durban celebration was suspended by the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, in compliance to the advisory of the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19. However, Muslims converged at the Eid ground in Kofar Mata to perform the 2 Rakat Eid prayers.
It is important since the third wave of COVID-19 is on site, we should be able to follow the protocol.
Messages on peace, unity and sacrifice were the focus of sermons delivered by various imams in Adamawa State to mark the Eid el-Kabir celebration, as reported by Yusuf Jiga.
We urge the nation to be tolerant of one another so that we can build a more purposeful and united country.
In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar Wowo reports that the 2-rakat prayer was observed across all the Eid grounds in the state, and Muslims were encouraged to emulate the teachings of Islam and turn to Allah this trying period.
I appeal to the miscreants among us, the bandits, the kidnappers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala touch their mind so that they can reform.
In these trying times, I would like to call on all Nigerians to pray hard, pray for our security agencies, pray for peace in this country.
Live in peace and harmony and helping each other, assisting each other in all our endeavors.
From Duse, Mohammed Musa Askira reports that the Chief Imam, Dr. Abubakar Sani Birnin Kudu, calls on the faithful to dedicate the festive period and pray for the country to surmount its challenges.
The peaceful nature of the state will continue to prevail, inshallah.
As the Eid al-Kabir celebration continues, Muslims are advised to continue to pray for the peace, security and prosperity of the nation. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
And still on silent messages, monarchs, clerics and state governors from the southwest joined thousands of Muslim worshippers to thank God and seek his intervention in tackling insecurity, threatening the peace of the nation. Elizabeth Thomori compiled messages from the region.
In Nasarawa State, Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports that the governor of the state urged Muslim faithful to emulate the virtues of Prophet Ibrahim in order to build a progressive nation.
We pray that the Almighty Allah will continue to protect us, to guide us, to bless us, to give us all the wisdom so that we can overcome all the challenges.
Similarly, the Emir of Suleja joined several worshippers at the Suleja Central Eid Prayer Ground to observe the 2-rakat prayers.
There is need to be faithful, to believe in Allah, to believe in all the factors that bring us together.
In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila reports that sermons centered on prayers for the leadership and economic growth.
I urge all our people to understand and sacrifice more for the survival of this country and for our individual relationships so that we live together.
Messages of peace, tolerance and obedience to Allah and constituted authority dominated sermons in Katsina State.
I appeal to leaders at various levels, and including those who are not of the Islamic faith, but all leaders, I think, should refrain and should do only those things that will promote peace and harmony in Nigeria.
From Bauchi Central Mosque, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that Governor Bala Mohammed and the Emir of Bauchi joined hundreds of worshippers in observing the Eid prayers.
The most secured in the northern part of the country, and it is not just like that. We pray a lot, and our ulamas and our people are praying, and everybody is a policeman.
Sulaiman Abdullah Rigachukun in Kaduna reports that the Emir of Zazao tasked Muslim faithful to imbibe the enduring lessons of love, sacrifice and faith, which the Eid represents.
We are calling on our people to intensify prayer for divine intervention against criminality.
Prophet ﷺ on a day like this told his companions that Allah has prohibited to human beings the blood of others and their wealth and their dignity.
The need for Muslims to imbibe true values was the central message at the Gusau Eid Prayer Ground in Zamfara State, with Governor Bello Mohammed in attendance.
I directed the Ministry of Finance to pay salaries and pension last week in order to make it easier for our civil servants to celebrate Eid al-Kabir. According to the report I got, all employees have received their salary by July 17.
In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Francis Foom also compiled how the Eid al-Kabir celebration took place in other parts of the country.
Prayers dressed to reflect the mood of the day. The Muslim faithful performed the spiritual exercise at the Itam Central Mosque, Oyo, in Akwa Ibom State, with prayers of peace and unity to take prominence in all spheres of national life. The Central Mosque, Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, was where the Muslim Ummah offered the 2 rakat prayers, seeking the face of the Holy Prophet in the restoration of peace in the land and to teach the followers on how to imbibe the spirit of tolerance. To achieve the federal government's vision of a progressive and united Nigeria, the chief imam of Owerri Central Mosque urged Muslim faithful to prayerfully support the programs and policies that will enhance good governance.
Life is all about being obedient, just as the Prophet of Islam has commanded us in several of his hadiths.
In Bayelsa State, it was the message of upholding the virtue of love, sacrifice and unity for the growth and prosperity of Nigeria.
Let us see how we can pray for these leaders so that God will help them. Because if they succeed, definitely will succeed.
The unity of Nigeria must not be sacrificed at the altar of religious, ethnic and political sentiments. This formed the crux of prayer for the Muslim Ummah in Asaba during the Eid observance. The Enugu Central Mosque was where the Muslims gathered in Coal City to observe the 2 rakat prayers with calls to emulate the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad in the areas of sacrifice, love and obedience. It was almost the same message in Abia State, as Muslim faithful were reminded to embrace the values of sacrifice. In Oka, Anambra State, it was special prayers for national development, security of lives and property in the land. While in Port Harcourt, the Eid al-Kabir message was anchored on faith, obedience to Allah's injunction, and inherent blessings. In all the state, the wearing of face masks and the use of hand sanitizers were made compulsory. Francis from NTA News.
Meanwhile, the APC chieftain, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has also extended his regards to Muslims in Nigeria and around the world as they celebrate Eid al-Kabir, urging the faithful to dedicate themselves to greater adherence and obedience to the compassionate and spiritually nourishing commands of Almighty Allah. Tinubu, in a statement, urges Muslims not to forget the reason for Eid al-Kabir, especially supporting the poor and vulnerable, as well as show of brotherly concern and compassion to all. He urges for more prayers to security agents, unity and stability of the country, and the leaders to succeed in making Nigeria better. Similarly, as Islamic faithful mark the virtue of sacrifice with the Eid al-Kabir celebration, Muslims in Enugu State have reiterated their commitment to the sustenance of peace and unity in the state as one nation. The Islamic faithful in the state gave the assurance while receiving some Salah gifts presented to them by the Enugu State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. Susan Eze has the details.
The Muslim community in Enugu State appreciated the leadership style in the state, which they say depicts unity, trust, and sacrifice. These virtues, according to the leader of the Hausa community in the state, are in line with the significance of the Eid al-Kabir celebration. The Salah gifts from Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was presented by the State Commissioner for Special Duties, who stated that the gesture is in demonstration of the state government's love and care for all residents of the state.
We are here to celebrate with our Muslim brothers and sisters here in Enugu. Remember, we are indigenous of Enugu. We are one. The governor is celebrating the Salah with you.
The Muslim community in Enugu State have a strong trust in the leadership of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Enugu State.
The Muslim community in Enugu State promised their continued prayers and support for the leadership of the state and the nation at large. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
It's all about Salah today as low-key celebrations characterize the Eid al-Kabir in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, following COVID-19 restrictions imposed by authorities. Though many are disappointed they are not able to enjoy the usual festivities that accompany Salah celebrations, but say it is time to adjust to the new normal amid threat of a third wave of coronavirus. Joseph Otsen reports.
Amid fear of third wave of COVID-19 pandemic, following the confirmation of its Delta variant in the country, authorities of the Federal Capital Territory directed that Eid prayers be held in open spaces at various prayer grounds. Some faithful converge in small numbers to pray, while others say they will be limiting their interactions.
Everywhere is locked, and you cannot enter somebody's house anyhow like before to go and celebrate with anybody.
We have to bear it. We have to now look at new way of how we live and how we interact both during celebration and after celebration.
It is not just the usual visitations that are cut short, as recreational centers were also closed. This is the popular Magic Land Park in Abuja. Festive periods it usually gets busy with families coming in here to have good time. But for this Eid al-Kabir, the gate is closed.
They were telling us that it is closed until Thursday.
Because I came with my siblings so we can have fun. Because today is Salah now. So we're not really happy about it at all.
So disappointing to see that it's closed.
It's good because I heard that the infection rate has increased, especially in Lagos. So maybe the government is just trying to take a very good precautionary measure.
There have been reported daily rise in COVID-19 cases, with numbers rising above 100. The Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 has advised state governments to increase level of preparedness and continue to enforce all protocols to prevent spread of the virus. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Thank you, Joseph. Eid Adha, also known as Eid al-Kabir, is a time to celebrate with family and friends. Aisha Uba Ali, who visited a family in the spirit of the celebration, reports that the family of a senior citizen, Suleiman Mohammed Kumu, is using the opportunity to celebrate, but not forgetting the morals inherent in the religious festival.
In the house of Suleiman Muhammad Kumu from Gombe State, also a retired civil servant, is just a typical example of what Salah celebration should be. As Muslims all over the world celebrate Eid al-Kabir, so is the family of Suleiman Muhammad Kumu with his children and grandchildren. He says his joy knows no bound, even as he used the opportunity to preach unity, peace and tolerance among Nigerians.
Eid al-Kabir is Eid of sacrifice, and we are supposed to sacrifice for each other to make sure that nothing is too big for us to sacrifice, so long as it's within bounds. Yeah, that's the moral of the Eid.
For the children, it is a time to pray and wish for long life.
I'm very happy because I'm with my family, my children, grandchildren. I feel happy.
I wish them a very, very blessed life, a rewardful life, the one that they will be happy till eternity.
We couldn't relate last year's Salah because due to the COVID stuff, everybody was isolated and all. But then this Salah, alhamdulillah, we are all here, happy with our family.
We all come from our husband's house to come and celebrate in the family house. Alhamdulillah, we are happy.
Even the little ones were not left out.
Salah is a moment like having special time with your family and having fun. I feel happy and I hope everybody has a good Salah.
For the family of Suleiman Muhammad Kumu, the moral of Eid al-Kabir will not be forgotten in a hurry as they pray for Allah's mercy and guidance. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali, NTA News.
And away from Eid al-Kabir now, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the gallant pilots of the Nigerian Air Force Alpha Jet Flight Lieutenant Abayomi Daru, who successfully ejected from an aircraft that came under intense ground fire from bandits in Zamfara State, northwest at the weekend. The president, who was briefed on the successful operation by the nation's defense forces to rescue the pilot, said he was shocked by the devastating news of the air crash, but felt much relieved following the successful ejection by the pilot and his eventual rescue. The president prayed the injured pilot recovers at the earliest time. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with His Royal Highness Major General Abdullahi Maman, retired, a member of the defunct Armed Forces Ruling Council and erstwhile Minister of Internal Affairs, on the occasion of his 80th birthday. The president recognizes General Maman's strong sense of duty and service to Nigeria throughout the length of his career as a military officer, distinguishing himself as a courageous and dependable commander at various levels, from troop and brigade commander to commander, Corps of Artillery and Commandant, Command and Staff College, Jaji. As the Estu Nyaba chiefdom in Niger State, President Buhari applauds the elder statesman for bringing his many years of experience as a military officer, businessman and administrator to bear in handling the affairs of his community, working tirelessly to promote peace, prosperity and social cohesion. The president praised God Almighty to bless the traditional ruler with more years of health and happiness. Time to take a trip to Lagos now, where Adiola is standing by for more news. Adiola, let's hear you.
Thank you, Inyere. Imbibing the spirit of unity devoid of ethnicity is key in achieving the essence of nationhood. This, Islamic clerics say, can be achieved when the citizens support developmental strides of government and demonstrate love with one another. It is against this background that Michael Olaleye takes a look at the significance of Eid al-Kabir festival.
Eid al-Kabir remains a significant festival in the Islamic world, which falls on the 12th month of the Islamic calendar. It is a day commemorating the uncommon demonstration of sacrifice and obedience, traceable to how the benevolent act of Prophet Ibrahim in fulfilling its pledge to Allah led to the instant provision of a ram in place of his son.
We need to imbibe peace. Let's get away from crime and come together with one another so that we can pray, so that we can move this country together.
Islamic clerics say beyond the sacrificial slaughtering of ram is a symbolic message of the benefits inherent in exhibiting high level of faith and trust in God.
We need to be upright. There's no how we can be upright without having the piety of Allah. If you have piety of your Creator, then you fulfill your promises, not the promises to your Lord alone, even the promises to human beings like you.
To the chief imam of Lekki, the message transcends religious divide, but a clarion call for humanity to put Allah and his doctrines first.
We should not hate one another. We have to love one another. We have to share and care, and we should not always complain. We have to help our government. The government can't do everything. We have to do in whatever way by praising whatever the government is doing well and appreciating the government.
Peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, the clerics say, is the antidote to ending insecurity and banditry. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Salah celebration is held in high esteem by Muslim families because it affords them the opportunity to bond with their loved ones far or near. With the emergence of COVID-19, Annie Daniels, who visited some Muslim families in Lagos, say although there are restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of the disease, Muslim families are still making the best out of the day.
These Muslims, like those elsewhere, are set to do the needful with these rams. As expected, the meat is cooked, and these women are showing off their cooking skills while the men wait patiently.
We celebrate with not even only Muslims. Christians come to celebrate with us. If you can even see, we send rams to even Christians so that they can celebrate with us. So this is a sign of unity.
Sarkin Fulani of Lagos says, but for COVID-19, the number of people here would have been more.
What we are hearing about this third wave that is around, I think we need to be very careful and take precautions so that we all observe this social distancing and wear all our masks.
The story was not different at the home of the Jamius, where the family still uphold the essence of Eid al-Adha.
You want to show that you appreciate God by extending that love to others. It's not something you are supposed to eat alone. Before now, all our neighbors will come here and celebrate with us. Rather, we dish the food in takeaway packs and give to them.
For the younger generation, Salah would have been better without COVID-19.
I feel uncomfortable, so wearing face masks because I'm like, I should be free. It stopped school a little bit and I cannot talk to my friends.
And for these children, they just wish Salah celebration will be a daily affair. Eid Mubarak, Nigeria. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
We'll take another break. The news will continue thereafter. Do stay with us.
Glad to have you back. A high court sitting in Awka, the Anambra State capital, has directed INEC to publish the name of the former CBN governor, Professor Charles Soludo, as APGA's candidate in the forthcoming November governorship election in the state. Nwabufo Nwoye reports that Justice Chukwudi Oka, in his judgment, ordered that the name of Chukwuma Omelji be removed as the party's governorship candidate and ordered him to stop parading himself as the candidate in the November 6th governorship election. Justice Oka, while reaffirming that Dr. Victor Oye is the authentic national chairman of the party, says Dr. Oye has the right to conduct the party's primary and produce a candidate of the party in the forthcoming election. The court also directed that Mr. Jude Okeke and Edozie Unjoku should stop parading themselves as national chairman of the party. Similarly, another high court in Awka has also ordered INEC to include the name of Senator Ogochukwu Uba as the PDP governorship candidate. Delivering the judgment, Justice Obiora Nwabunike said the primary that produced Senator Uba was the authentic one. Although the court upheld the argument of Valentine Ozigbo that the party primary was an internal affair, the judge said it cannot be valid when there is a subsisting judgment which has not been vacated. The court awarded 10 million naira as damages against Dr. Valentine Ozigbo and the PDP. Now time to go to Ibadan, where Kemi has the latest from that zone. Kemi, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ienri, and welcome to Ibadan. As Muslims in Ibadan, your state capital, join others to celebrate Eid al-Kabir, the chief imam of Ibadan land, Abdulganiyu Abubakar Agbotomokekere, sues for peace and national unity, urging all to put aside differences. Respondent Ayomiku Ajibola reports that Oyo State Deputy Governor Rauf Olaniyan was among thousands of worshippers at the central Eid ground, Agudi, Ibadan.
The chief imam of Ibadan land, Sheikh Abdulganiyu Agbotomokekere, there, leading the two supplicatory rakat prayers. He had earlier admonished faithful to abstain from vices that may jeopardize the existence of the country, urging them to use the festive period to pray for lasting peace in the state and Nigeria in general.
Everybody should continue to live in peace, in harmony, and be prayerful.
We should show that our commitment to Almighty Allah is everywhere and at every time.
The Deputy Governor, Rauf Olaniyan, later led some Muslim faithful on a homage to the State Governor, Seyi Makinde, at his residence.
Baraka de Salah. We will keep doing everything humanly possible by these governments to carry everybody along.
Special prayer were also held for the unity, peace, and harmony in the country. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Career prayers, Kayode Oladoshu has a compilation from some other parts of the southwest.
We apologize for the hitch in Ibadan Network Center. Let's go for a quick break now. Please stay. Now time to talk sports with Bade Adeleye. Bade, I hear that the last batch of athletes for Tokyo Olympics have left Nigeria. What's your thoughts about their competition over there?
Of course, they're in high spirits and they are very much ready. They said they are going to deliver medals for Nigeria, and that's beautiful. All right, welcome to sports. Let's begin with the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, who has reassured Nigerians of a good outing at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Dare was speaking in Abuja while sending forth the last batch of Team Nigeria athletes to the Games at the Nnamdi International Airport Tuesday morning.
We have a team of 58 athletes that have qualified. Some of them the very best in the area of sports. Shows that this country is going to Tokyo not just to show up, but to compete and win medals. So my message, best wishes should go forth to our team, and above all, prayers.
Moving on, the Nigeria Volleyball Federation says it is open and willing to listen to any corporate organization interested in a sponsorship deal. The federation, while affirming their desire for a sustainable sponsorship deal, not less than a duration of 3 years, also listed the volleyball leagues in the country and the national teams as top on the agenda for any legitimate sponsorship offer. NVBF believes the rich dossier built in the past 4 years ensures the sponsors get value for their money. Let's go to the boxing ring now, as Nigerian-born British boxer Anthony Joshua says is ready to knock out Alexander Usyk when they face off later this year. Joshua, who will put his IBF, WBA and WBO heavyweight championships on the line against Usyk at the new White Hart Lane Stadium, home of Tottenham Hotspur, on Saturday, September the 25th, has declared is prepared to handle business.
I rate all my opponents. He's good, and that's all I can really say. But it's all about the final bell and whose hands are raised at the end, and that'll prove who's the best. But he's good, but I need to be better.
Talk is cheap, they will always say. We cannot wait to see that fight on September the 25th. Back to you, Yeri.
Thank you so much, Buddy. Now time to take a quick peep at the weather outlook for Wednesday.
Warm sunshine to start things up for Wednesday across the north. We observe good prospects of thunderstorms over parts of Adamawa, Taraba, and to some parts of Sokoto and Kebbi. And over to the central region, we expect morning thunderstorms over the FCT, parts of Nasarawa and Benue State. To the southern half of the country is expected to be in mostly cloudy conditions with chances of rain showers over Akwa Ibom, Cross River and parts of Lagos. But for much of the afternoon, there will be lots of cloud cover and rain showers are expected across the southern half of the country. Despite the rain-bearing clouds over the central cities, chances of thunderstorms are high over Kogi, Plateau and parts of Benue. While up north is where we expect much of the weather activities. And that's your weather for Wednesday. I am Akemi Samarda. Thanks for watching.
News tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it, and we hope you enjoy your holidays. Please remember that rape is a crime. Don't hide. Speak out. Good night.